I stood by the window watching the lights of my car flicker in the darkness. Through the branches of the oak tree over the driveway, right under the street lamp, the license plate gleamed. Art Boss. No joke. My choice. My signature. Inside the house warmth, the smell of turkey and cranberry sauce, Alexa's voice half drowned by laughter. Thanksgiving dinner at my parents' place in Austin, Texas. Same as always. Embroidered tablecloth, Uncle Harry's bottle of Zinfandel, chatter about who parked where, and a slew of comments about real estate prices. The Green family never changes. Only Ido, lowly but surely. Savannah, you're on that iPad again? Mom's voice sounds almost gentle, but it's laced with a pinch of irony. Just finishing up an order, I reply calmly, trying not to glance at Uncle Harry, who's asking for the third time tonight what the difference is between PNG and JPEG. Can't you get a real job already? My brother Noah snorts, pushing away his plate of stuffing. He owns an auto shop in Round Rock and thinks paying taxes gives him the right to preach about what counts as real work. Seriously? Stickers? Who even buys those? Chimes in his wife Candace, who went to high school with me and now runs a mommy blog while selling essential oils on Etsy. I just smile, not out of politeness, out of strategy. They don't know my stickers are part of Target's holiday collection campaign, that I made $18,000 last month, that I have a team of 4 remote employees across different states. That this morning, I turned down investors because I can grow on my own. But I don't say any of this. Not yet. Because these people, my family, they live in a world where success is measured by hours clocked in an office or the color of your uniform's collar. Tonight, around the table, there were 3 engineers, 1 retired teacher, an accountant, 2 stay-at-home moms, and Noah Hoare, local car king. And me, the designer with a childish hobby, who somehow parked a brand new Genesis GV70 by the front porch. Just a lucky lease deal, right? You know, Savannah, Mom says as I sit back down at the table, you've always been our dreamer. Just don't forget family's always here, even if, well, you know. Yeah, Mom, I know, I smile, picking up my glass. And, outside, my license plate still glows. So much for stickers. Before the Art Boss license plate, before my illustrations landed on Target and Glossier packaging, I was stuck in cubicle 3B on the 3rd floor of a dull building with beige walls and vending machine coffee for 50 cents. I was a junior accountant at Grayson Build & Company, a construction firm that called itself a family until you asked for more than 2 days off. 9 to 6 invoices, checks, recalculations, tax drudgery. Then I'd head home to my studio in South Austin, fire up my iPad, and draw until 2 in the morning. Llamas with hearts, coffee cups with eyes, cacti with sad faces. My heart was in Procreate, not Excel. One evening, I uploaded 3 sticker packs to Etsy. Just for kicks. No big expectations. I named the shop Tiny Mood Club after my state of mind back then. Small mood, small life. A week later, I sold 2 packs. $5.98. I bounced around my room like I'd gotten a check from Netflix. It wasn't just the money, it was validation. Someone saw it. Someone wanted it. Me. I told my mom. Mom, I made stickers. Someone bought them. That's cool, right? She looked at me, smiled. You know, that smile that says you're sweet but foolish. Creativity's a hobby, honey. We need real careers. You don't want to end up like Aunt Dina with her handmade soaps, do you? I smiled back. But inside, it stung. Not sharp, but deep. Then there was Noah. He posted a photo of his new Tesla Model 3 on Facebook with the caption, "Finally treating myself chowder." I knew it was from Dad's insurance money. Dad passed 2 years earlier, and we each got a share. Noah bought a car and built our parents a patio. I put mine into rent and an old MacBook Air to export my .pngs faster. That day, I was on the bus home from work when I saw Noah's post. It hit me wrong. Not the car let him drive it, but the way it was seen. He's a champ, investing in himself. Me? I'm wasting money on silly drawings. Mom forwarded the Tesla photo to our family chat with, "Now that's confidence, that's adulthood." That same day, I'd filed tax reports for my Etsy shop, 5 orders a week, not 0 anymore. But, as usual, no applause. You know what it's like to pour your soul into something and feel politely dismissed? Like you're playing at business, not running one. Every time I launched a new design, someone in the family would say, "Maybe stop drawing all night? Get some sleep. It's not a job." But I knew, I felt it. Where they saw cute doodles, I saw a foundation. Not made of bricks, but layers, lines, colors, ideas. Sure, I was still in an apartment with a peeling kitchen and a microwave that only heated on the left side, but every night with my iPad was a ticket out. They said, "You don't get paid for dreams." I said, "Not yet." I remember how it all started a Friday evening, standing in line at Trader Joe's with a basket of frozen pizza, a jar of peanut butter, and some discounted yogurts. My phone buzzed Etsy. A sale. A minute later, another, and another. I thought it was a glitch, or maybe a bot snatching up my sleepy taco stickers. I opened TikTok, nearly dropped my phone into the basket. One of my followers, a creator named at Kozakady with 2 million followers, had posted a video decorating her laptop saying, "These stickers? From a tiny shop called Tiny Mood Club. She's legit my fave right now." On the screen, my lemurs in pajamas. Under the video, 200,000 likes already. I left my basket in the aisle, ran home, opened my laptop, logged into Etsy, and watched the numbers climb. By morning, 1,374 orders. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep. Just printed labels, packed, and wrote "thank you" in marker on every envelope. On day 3, I ordered branded packaging. By day 6, I integrated shipping services and rented a desk in a co-working space. In 1 month, the shop made $12,089.24. Net about $8,500. I quit my job. Grace, the HR manager, asked, "Where are you going? Competitors?" I smiled. "Number, I'm just going into myself." Every morning, the post would collect my boxes. A friend helped with logistics. I learned QuickBooks, Shopify, and Pinterest ads on the fly. Every night, I remembered how they said, "It's cute, but you're not a kid." I didn't feel like a kid. I felt like NASA before liftoff. Then came a family Zoom call. Mom, Dad, Noah, and Candace were on screen. Thanksgiving was over, but their tone was still protective skepticism. "Savannah, you really quit?" Mom squinted. "Yes, I've already paid 6 months of rent," I said, sipping matcha. "But it's unstable," said Noah. "1 month isn't a trend. You're not going to go back to Excel later, are you?" I laughed. Not out of defensiveness, but genuine joy. "No, Noah, Excel is coming back to me now. I even have an assistant, and she loves it." Silence. Dad cleared his throat. "Just be careful. Today it's one thing, tomorrow it's another. It's the internet." The internet. As if it were a toy instead of a force more powerful than their tax returns and auto shops. I nodded, thanked them. But inside, I knew I had already exceeded their map. I had stepped outside their understanding. And it was terrifying, but exhilarating. Now, when someone asks, "What do you do?" I don't stutter. I say, "I'm the founder of a digital brand. I work in visual content and marketing." And then I add, quietly with a smile, "And I draw lemurs sometimes." A year had passed. Sav Green's studio was no longer just an Etsy shop. It was now an official LLC, with an office in South Lamar, a 5-person team, and our first big contract with Target. A seasonal eco-play line of school supplies, everything from lunchboxes to notebooks. My handwriting on the box, my numbers behind the price tag. I traveled for meetings in Chicago, learned how to say margin without my voice shaking, and asked the designer to trim 2 millimeters off the edge so the watercolor border wouldn't get cut off at the print shop. It was a whole new me. But of course, the phone didn't forget. A call from Noah, my older brother. His auto shop, as always, breaking even on good days, sometimes in the red, but hey, he's his own boss and doesn't wear a tie. The family's pride. He inherited Dad's pragmatism and Mom's disdain for hippie stuff. "Hey, Savannah, got a minute?" I instantly recognized the tone. Polite, not his usual. Like he was selling insurance, not asking for help. "What's up?" "Oh, I'm a bit stuck on my taxes. You know your way around all that QuickBooks stuff, right? Some of my deductions aren't adding up. and Form 4562 not sure how to handle equipment. He spoke fast, like he was afraid I'd say no. I didn't. I never say no right away. Not even to the ones who, just a year ago, said to my face, "Okay, artist, do you at least have health insurance?" I simply opened my laptop, shared a Zoom link, and said, "Send me your statements and 1099s. We'll start from scratch." For 2 hours, I sorted through his transactions, categorized expenses, explained the difference between gross and net, left comments in a Google Sheet, cleaned up errors. He watched silently, sometimes nodded, sometimes just spun a pen between his fingers. "No, thanks. No, sorry I laughed at your fox stickers." When we wrapped up, he said, "You should have become a CPA. Crazy money in that." I replied, "I went where the freedom is crazy." We said goodbye. No drama. No good job, Savannah. I closed the laptop and just sat there, staring at the screen. Because sometimes triumph isn't applause. It's just silence. When you know everything has changed and you don't need anyone to say it out loud. They always told me to be useful. Well, now I am. Maybe too much. I wasn't seeking revenge. I just knew my worth. I was sitting on the cafe terrace on South Congress, sipping my vanilla oat milk latte and tweaking the mock-up for the new collection. Everything was almost perfect. The background was a little more pastel than I wanted, but the fox in the scarf looked convincingly cozy. And then the call. Mom. She always has that same voice when she's about to ask for something that sounds like no big deal, but actually means a 5-hour project. "Hi, Savannah. Got a minute?" "Of course, Mom." "I've been thinking I want to start a YouTube channel about baking. Remember my caramel pie Noah loves?" "Of course." "Right. I'm thinking of calling it Sweetly Yours. Could you draw me an avatar?" "Something cute. I want it to be me with a mixer like I'm mixing dough, but with a cartoon face. And the background, well, like yours, in pastel tones. Oh, and the font handwritten with swirls." I listen. I smile. Tilt my head so the wind doesn't muffle her voice. And I ask, "What's the budget?" "Oh, well, I thought maybe you'd just, do it for family." Pause. I take a sip, slowly, giving myself a second not to respond like I would have at 17. "Mom, be honest. You want me to create a professional logo, channel art, pick a font, a color scheme, an avatar for free?" She laughs, a little tight. "Well, you're so quick at it. You've got the hang of it. Taxis also get there fast, but you still paid the driver, right?" Silence. Then a sigh. "You've changed." "No, Mom. I just don't draw for free anymore for people who used to think it wasn't serious." Another pause. "Longer this time." "But you're family." "Exactly. Which means family discount, not charity." I wasn't angry. Not even a little. If anything, I felt a little sad. Because we both knew. A year ago, I would have jumped in. No price, no terms, because it felt like a way to earn love. To prove I was useful. But now I knew the value of my time, and of what I'd built. In the end, she sent $50 on Venmo, captioned, "For art, but mostly love." I accepted. I drew the logo. It came out warm and cozy, her in a pink apron holding a whisk, with the cat on her shoulder, behind her, a powder yellow kitchen. A week later, she wrote in the channel description, "Artwork by my brilliant daughter, founder of Tiny Mood Club." I smiled. Not because I needed the recognition, but because in that slightly clumsy sentence was something I had waited for since childhood, an acknowledgement that my hobby was more than a hobby. It was a business. It was power. It was me. I got a Slack message. Not from someone on the team, it was from the email bot. "Rachel P. wants to connect on LinkedIn." I stared at the screen for about 3 seconds. My older sister. The same person who once called my art stuff childish nonsense and me, always with that iPad, like you're allergic to the real world. I clicked. Her headline now read, "Strategic Partnership Manager, Vertical Bar, formerly at Unilever North America." Formerly. That was the key word. 2 hours later, I got a message. "Hey, Sav." Hope you're doing well. I saw your new Target line, congrats. I'm in a bit of a transition right now. If you're exploring partnership expansion, I'd love to chat. I've got a strong background in comms and B2B. Just something to think about. 3. Rachel. I stared at the screen, tasting the irony like a hint of citrus. When you're 16 and your sister is 21, she's a goddess. She wore blazers and drank iced coffee. She had internships in New York and business trips to San Francisco. And me? I was drawing squirrel stickers and listening to Lorde on repeat. When she landed a job at Unilever, Mom ordered a cake. When I hit 10K sales on Etsy, I got, "That's cute, but don't count on it being sustainable." Now she was messaging me. I replied, "Thanks, Rachel. I've actually been thinking about partnerships. I've got an open contract slot, $26, hour, 20 hours a week. Scope includes full reporting, outreach KPIs, and a 60-day trial period. Let me know if you'd like me to send over the offer." 20 minutes later, "Wait, are you hiring me?" I paused, then typed, "Number. I'm giving you a shot." The typing dots blinked, then nothing. And that was the moment. Not revenge. A shift. A turning point. When roles reverse. When you're no longer the little sister with a hobby, but a founder. A business owner. A day later, she signed the contract via DocuSign. A week later, she presented our brand to a potential partner at a Dallas conference. Then she said, "I didn't realize you were this. Legit." I smiled. Neither did I. While you were laughing, I was building. It was the Saturday before Christmas. Not exactly a tradition in our family, but Dad always loved a pre-holiday lunch. Said it was a chance to give thanks for the year before everyone stuffed themselves with turkey and forgot who actually runs the show. This time, everything was different. Location: a rented loft in downtown Austin. The one we were using to shoot the new promo for Sav Green's My Merch and Stationery brand with botanical prints. Yes, it's no longer just an Etsy shop. It's a 14-person team. Deals with Target and Urban Outfitters. And a warehouse in Richland, Texas. Rachel was running the shoot tablet in hand, assistant trailing her. Noah, my cousin, was making coffee in the background. He's in charge of content now, editing, TikTok, all that. Claims he taught himself everything. I don't say much, but he did come to me with a resume after he got laid off from the agency. The air smelled like chlorella and cinnamon. Our new candle scent Calm Ambition. I walked in and didn't hear the usual, "Well, the star has arrived," laced with that familiar tone. Number. Everyone was seated around the long table, discussing the softcover notebook collection. My dad held a tablet, scrolling through at Sav Green's official on Instagram. "These are all your designs?" he asked. I nodded. "And the sales are real?" "Around 280K last quarter." I said it calmly, because now it's not a record, it's just the norm. He was quiet for a long moment. Then finally said, "You seriously lapped us all?" I looked him in the eyes. Not to challenge. Not with bitterness. Just honestly. I just didn't pull over. Rachel came up to me with a quick ask. "Sav, is it okay if I leave an hour early? I've got a Zoom call potential brand in Vancouver I've been handling." I nodded. And in that moment, I noticed how Mom was looking at me. Almost the same way she used to look at Rachel. Only now it was directed at me. I sat at the head of the table. My seat. Now literally. This was the set of my brand. My business. Dad poured himself some coffee, took a sip, and without looking at me, said quietly, "You became what I never got around to being." For the first time in years, I didn't hear competition in his voice. Just exhaustion. And maybe respect. I didn't reply. I just opened my laptop and pulled up our new partnership deck. Because sometimes, the best response is what you've built, not what you explain. I hesitated for a long time. There was a video draft sitting on my phone for a week recorded one evening, finally alone. No briefs, no logistics, no Sav, do you mind if we push the deadline? Just me. Sitting on the floor of my bedroom. Wearing a watercolor-stained t-shirt. In the background, a stack of sticker packs still waiting to be signed for my first Patreon supporters. I looked into the camera and finally said what I'd been thinking all along. No drama, no heroism. Hey, I'm Savannah. In my family, they called me the weird one. Quiet, stubborn. I didn't fight. I didn't try to prove anything. I just kept drawing, kept working. And yeah, they laughed, said, "Who's gonna pay for your little hobby?" And I figured out how to make them pay. But not for revenge. I stopped the recording, ruined, watched it again. In my head, I heard my dad's voice. "You're too emotional. Never run a business with your heart." And Rachel's voice. "A brand is packaging. People don't want to see everything behind the scenes." But then I thought, what if it's the opposite? What if strength is honesty? What if I am the product, not just the designer? So I hit record again and said, "This wasn't revenge, I just built a system. A system where respect isn't earned by age, or last name, or tone of voice. It's earned by results, by how you work, by whether you keep your word. Family can be a team, but only if the rules apply to everyone." I posted the video to Reels. No editing, no logo. Just a black and white filter and the caption, "Number hobby to CEO. You don't owe them silence. Build it loud. Build it fair." By morning, it had 48,000 views. 2 days later, BuzzFeed published an article. From iPad sketches to empire. How one woman turned family mockery into market leadership. But the comments meant more. "This feels like you told my story. My sister still calls my Etsy shop arts and crafts. I just signed a lease for my studio." Family isn't always a team. Sometimes you have to build your own. I rewatched the video on the third day. My voice still shakes at the end. You can still see me fidgeting with my sleeve. But I won't delete it. Because it's not a victory speech. It's a model. For everyone who's ever been told, "This isn't serious. You're not a leader. It's just a hobby." And decided to build an empire from that hobby. A couple of months ago, I turned the key in the lock of our new office in Austin for the first time. Sav Green Studio, it's no longer just my Etsy brand. It's a real business now, with a team, goals, structure, and yes, my own family listed as employees. I walk past the wall where we hang our team portraits. Under each photo name, title, and salary. Just like in any serious company. First up, Ben, my brother. Yes, that Ben, the golden boy of our family saga, who graduated from Berkeley Law and always believed success meant status and title. Now, he handles our legal support and contracts. His title is legal counsel. Salary? $85,000 a year. Bonuses? Based on quarterly performance. Next, Mom. The one who used to say, "Savannah, do something stable, not those little sticker things." Now she's our customer experience manager. She handles client feedback and makes sure every buyer feels seen and valued. Her salary is $55,000 and she smiles when she sees how far we've come. Rachel, my older sister, lost her job last year, joined my business, and is now my strategic partner. She's our head of partnerships, started at $60,000 and has room to grow. She negotiates, connects, and expands us into places I couldn't have reached alone. And me? I'm the CEO. The same girl who once sat in the corner during Thanksgiving dinner while everyone laughed at her weird hobby. Now I'm the one running the ship with full responsibility and a transparent structure. At the office entrance, there's a wooden plaque that reads, "Built on giggles, runs on grit." I see it every morning and think of that Thanksgiving. The jokes. The snickers about my stickers. The "this isn't stable" comments. And now? My family is my team. And this business, it's not just about numbers, it's about trust. About reimagining what success and family can look like. Of course, it's not perfect. Ben still sometimes hints he wants more. Mom occasionally worries we're too digital. But we've grown. We're learning to listen, to respect, and to build something together. And the best part? We didn't do this for show. We did it for us. Because family isn't just blood and shared meals. It's the team where everyone gets to be who they are, even if they're quiet or strange. Step by step, the giggles in the corner became a company mission. Now, I can say with pride, yes, they laughed at me. Yes, they thought it was just a hobby. But now, they all work for me. And I'll never forget. It all started with a simple iPad and a deep, relentless desire not to quit. I get an email from a venture fund. They've been quietly watching our growth for the past 6 months. Now they're offering investment. Strategic partnership. For many, it's a dream deal. But I don't rush. I'm not selling Sav Green's studio. Why? Because this business is more than money. It's my answer to the laughter in that Austin living room. It's proof that what once looked like a weird little hobby can become an empire. Instead, I publish a blog post. I wasn't seeking revenge. I was seeking possibility. And turns out laughter at your dream doesn't stop it from coming true. It just makes the applause louder. The post goes viral. Messages flood in from women who were once called too quiet, too weird, too something. Women who thought their dreams were too small to matter. And now I have a team. My family isn't just my family anymore. They're my partners, my colleagues, my friends. The camera zooms out. I see our team meeting in our new office, right in the heart of Austin. Everyone's busy, tossing around ideas, laughing, planning. Ben's at his laptop, reviewing legal docs. Mom's smiling as she takes notes. She's starting to love customer work. Rachel's in a passionate debate with our marketer about the next campaign. And me? I'm at the head of the table, calm, grounded. Not because I'm the loudest in the room, but because I own the moment. I own the business. I own my life. They shouldn't have laughed at me. They should have laughed with us, back when it all began. Now that laughter? It's applause, loud, real, and earned. And the best part? Now they believe. Now they work. And together, we prove. Respect doesn't come from titles or noise. It comes from results. That was the end of one chapter. But it was the beginning of another. A chapter where dreams stopped being a joke. A chapter where quiet became power. A chapter where family became team. A chapter where I am the leader,